Every country is in debt. Not just some countries, all of them. The United States is at about $38.44 trillion. The European Union's governments combined are around $17.48 trillion. Japan's long-term government debt is roughly $8.4 trillion. So here's the paradox. If everyone owes money, who exactly is getting paid? Stay with me because the answer is not one enemy country. It's not a secret villain. It's something colder. The world owes money to a system, and often to itself. Now first, a quick truth that changes everything. Global debt has more than one scoreboard. One widely used IMF measure puts global debt around $251 trillion. A broader market measure puts it closer to $337.7 trillion. Different definitions. Same conclusion, the planet runs on promises. So how did we get here? Go back to 1694. England is at war and running out of money. The government makes a deal. Lend us funds now, and we'll pay you interest, backed by future taxes. That's the birth of the modern government bond, a tradable promise from the state. And here's the key idea. Once a government can borrow reliably, it can fund wars, build empires, and expand power before it actually has the cash. So national debt wasn't born from bad habits. It was born as a tool of statecraft. Now fast forward to today. When you ask, who is the creditor, you have to stop thinking in one phase. Think in layers. Layer one, domestic savers, banks, pension funds, insurance companies, your retirement money. Layer two, foreign holders, other countries and institutions that hold bonds for safety. Layer three, the financial plumbing, funds and collateral markets that treat government bonds like super cash. And layer four, central banks, the backstop when fear spreads. Now let's use the United States as the clearest example, because this is where the biggest myth lives. The US owes China, so China owns America. In reality, foreign holders as a whole own a big chunk, but most US debt is held inside the US system. And even among foreign holders, Japan holds about $1.202 trillion in US treasuries. China holds about $682.6 billion. Big numbers, yes, but not ownership of a $38 trillion debt pile. So here's the first reveal. America mostly owes America. But that creates a second, stranger question. If the debt is mostly internal, why does it still have the power to crash economies? Here's why debt can still break countries. Because the real power isn't just who holds it, it's who controls the price of trust. That price is interest rates. When investors lose confidence, interest rates spike. Refinancing gets harder. Budgets start bleeding, currencies weaken, and governments suddenly have fewer options. So in the modern world, democracy can choose leaders, but markets can decide survival. Now we reach the engine at the center, central banks. Central banks can buy government bonds to stabilize markets. That links money and debt in a way most people never see. In modern finance, government bonds aren't treated like dangerous liabilities. They're treated like the safest collateral on earth. Banks use them to secure lending. Funds park money in them. Pensions depend on them. Even central banks hold them as reserves, which leads to the paradox that sounds insane. If the world's biggest safe bonds vanished, a lot of financial plumbing would seize up. Now the biggest secret, governments are not planning to pay off all debt. They plan to roll it over. Old bonds mature, new bonds replace them. That's refinancing. And it's normal sovereign finance. So the real goal isn't zero debt. The goal is keep debt serviceable, keep it believable, keep it desirable. Because the system runs on confidence, not repayment. But confidence is not evenly distributed, and neither are the benefits. Even if a country owes itself, interest doesn't flow equally to everyone. Who receives interest? The people and institutions that own the bonds. Who funds it? Taxpayers broadly. So debt isn't only a transfer between countries. It can be a transfer inside societies, from the wider public to the holders of financial assets. That's why debt and inequality often rise together. So if everyone is in debt, who is the creditor? Not one country, not one villain. It's a network, domestic institutions, foreign holders, financial markets, and central banks, with ordinary citizens plugged in through pensions and savings. And here's the final, uncomfortable truth. The world owes money to itself, but not everyone benefits equally from that loop. So I'll ask you a question. If you could change one rule of the debt system, what would it be? Should governments try to pay debt down? Should interest costs be capped? Or should we accept rollover forever? But redesign who benefits. Write your rule in the comments. And if you want more stories where money and power collide, subscribe to the Hidden Money History.